Matt Rogan, it was an honor listening to your presentation earlier, founder of the Two Circles, a shift to individualism. When it comes to marketing, you said it and we can all notice it, has already been made in the music industry and other industries. So is the sports industry now trying to catch the last train?
Yes, but what we notice, I think, is that from a sport perspective, what it has up its sleeve, the potential it has is the amount of passion and engagement it can bring with it. So what we notice is, even if sport takes a little longer, when it gets it right, it can be extraordinary. So for example, just by combining 2 or 3 bits of data in a smart way and talking to the right people at the right time, you can achieve amazing things that an FMCG brand or a retailer just can't, because sport gets you in the heart. So it's behind, but ultimately when it gets itself sorted out, we're hearing from Southampton later on, when it gets itself sorted out, it can be far more effective in this space, in the personal-led communication space, than any other industry.
You only work with right holders.
Correct.
And you talk a lot about two-way relationship with fans. Doesn't that just mean then more work and more costs for the sports properties?
Ultimately, it means being more effective and more efficient. So, for example, most marketing teams that we find ourselves starting to work with, we can actually tell them which 50% of their marketing isn't working. So most of the time we find spending 5 days a week pushing out content. And what we change that to is 1 day listening, 1 day planning, 2 days a week pushing out the right content to the right people, and 1 day a week evaluating. So actually it's just about doing less, but doing it much better.
You say data is the key, data is the enabler, and connect the left and the right.
Yeah.
Does your work also involve dealing with the mistrust maybe engraved in people about collecting data?
Absolutely. I mean, actually we found that's changed a lot in the last 3 or 4 years. So rights holders right the way across Europe used to be very naive about the way in which they manage their data. And so for us to start with, there was an education process. As European law develops, we're finding they're having to understand a little bit more. And the way in which we manage that is always being proactive with customers, ask permission, get the right permission, get the right opt-ins. Ultimately, when you get a problem, is when they're not interested, when the message you're sending just doesn't resonate with them. But if you help them understand having the information, it helps you be more focused in the content you send them and more targeted to them and their interests, then we tend to find it gets not only acceptance but also engagement.
How important is the technology behind collecting data?
It's well overplayed in terms of importance. We've never seen a big software technology deal in sport actually make a meaningful difference. Those deals tend to be focused on nice column inches, look what we've done in a big rights holder so we can do it for a brand. What we tend to find is that with very simple tools and techniques that you can, perfectly accessible, you can make a major difference. It takes big technology for sure to like industry-wide kind of technology solutions, but actually decent Microsoft stack technology and freely available marketing tools, you can make a major difference. In particular way, the likes of Facebook Live and Twitter Moments and things, now it's just how we live our lives.
Often we try to compare, okay, these are the big players that you're showing the stories from, but you also told about the story of a table tennis association in England, which was a really interesting aspect. Could you elaborate on that a little bit more, please? So this is the opportunity then for everyone.
For sure. So a lot of small sports in the UK and across Europe, when they have what for them is a big event coming up, but for broadcasters isn't a big event and won't drive ratings, they have a problem. Either they pay all the production costs and give that to the broadcaster, and the broadcaster puts it on at 4 o'clock in the morning. That doesn't do anyone any favours. Or they can say, well, if the production costs are £5,000-10,000 and we can distribute that digitally in a very different way via, it might be on Facebook Live, it might be a partnership with the right target market, we can generate a load of data that will help us push our organisation for them. So our suggestion for all the smaller rights holders would be to say, if we're thinking about broadcast, let's take that a different way and let's think about narrowcast and targeted communications to the right audiences, because the platforms are available now where you can do that for next to nothing. this interview could be broadcast on Facebook Live, go around the world at exactly the same time for no cost to anyone.
It's a cliche question, but nevertheless, as a disruptor in the industry, how do you see the future?
The future, I'd probably characterise it as 2 or 3 different things. I think there will be a big shift in the way sports TV content is distributed. Ultimately, only the bigger rights fee deals are still going to be big budgets into big platforms and traditional broadcast. Everything else is going to go direct to customer, number one. Number two, I think the nature and makeup of the industry is going to change completely. Like I said in this room, I imagine actually 20% of the people in the room today will still be in the industry in 10 years' time, because we need a completely different set of skill sets in our industry in order to push it forward and be able to compete. And what that's going to mean is that actually sport will finally be able to prove the art of the possible and it's really capable of, and not be met with skepticism relative to other marketing forms.
Last question, SPORTO conference, and what can it bring to the region?
I think SPORTO conference is a tremendous initiative. Things I like in particular are the bravery to challenge convention, invite people over from different walks of life to share their views, but also have specific time to spend getting to know each other and sharing knowledge with each other in a very low pressure, low sales environment. I think you guys are doing a tremendous job, and actually it's developing a reputation already in Western Europe and England and Ireland in particular as a result of the quality of the content. So I think it will only go from strength to strength.
Thank you. It's great to have you with us.